Good morning, everybody, and today we'll be playing some more Mono Green Tron. Now, we've made some adjustments. I made them at the end of the last Tron video, but basically we dropped a walking ballista out of the main for an all is dust, and because we're no longer running anything with duplicate mana symbols in the main deck, we can run Jegantha out of the side as sort of, I guess, free value, potentially. And then in the side, we replaced Kozilek with Jegantha. I believe those were the two changes that we made. So if this means anything to me, it means that we are going to get absolutely demolished by 5 mil decks in a row, because I didn't bring along didn't bring along the Kozilek tech out of the side. Alright, let's do this. I'll see you guys in round one. Alright, round one, here we go. I would love to play first. We will reveal Jegantha. Can't keep this, we're gonna mulligan. Alright, this is not perfect. We do get a couple of extra looks at getting the tower, so we are gonna keep. I think I'm gonna put back Power Plant. Generally from this position against an unknown opponent, I think I'd want the redundant Tron land, but I want to keep 2 green sources because I'm going to crack one on turn 2. Basically to see if we draw a Sylvan Scrying or an Ancient Stirrings, and if we don't, playing Maze Mind Tome on turn 2. Okay, opponent plays a Windswept Heath. We draw a Karn Liberated. Crack for green, draw a card. There it is. There it is. Never, didn't, always have it. Tutor up tower. Pass the turn. Oh no. I mean, we had Maze Mind Tome as a backup, so it's not like we just. I mean, it totally mised into that. Alright. Opponent is the green-white exploration deck. They just played a Selesnya Sanctuary into a Karn Liberated. 2 lands for the price of Karn. Just remember, if your opponent plays high-value lands and you play Karn, they must pay for their transgressions. Opponent plays a Valakut, so this is green-white, what's it called? Like Titan, or whatever. I'm gonna uptick Karn, make them exile a card, because I want to have all of the Karn activations I possibly can, and because we have a redundant threat. If I didn't have another Karn here, if I had to like Chromatic Sphere Ancient Stirrings or something, I would downtick. Because I would need to keep my opponent off of mana for as long as possible. Okay, Wish with Karn. And we're gonna get Trinisphere, I think, first. Pass the turn. This means our opponent has to play a land before playing a spell this turn, if they want to play a spell. I just spilled coffee on myself. Fantastic. Alright, opponent Skyclave Apparitions to take out Trinisphere, because that's... Well, I guess they could take out Karn. They take out Karn. So we untap, draw Forest. I guess we play Ancient Stirrings off of the Forest, just in case we didn't... Oh, wait, no, hang on. I have a Trinisphere. I always gripe about people not paying enough attention and doing the same thing that I literally just did. So, I really have no right to complain. We'll pick up a redundant Karn Liberated and take out Valakut. Then we'll play an Urza's, or we'll play Maze Mind Tome off of Urza's Tower and pass the turn. It does give us an additional draw, which is nice. Opponent attacks Karn down to 2, basically, so we stop vindicating lands. Okay, draw an extra card. Another Karn Grey Creator, fantastic. Uptick Karn on our opponent. We exile Vesuva. Play Karn. Wish. And we're gonna get, I guess we get Liquid Metal Coating. They'd have to have another Skyclave Apparition to deal with this Karn. Yeah. Sweet, game's over. That was pretty awesome. I mean, we totally misered into that Sylvan Scrying, but that's what the deck's built to do. We had so many good draws. Like, even just like more spheres and stars for redraws at that point wouldn't have been bad. So, versus green-white Titan, running Skyclave Apparition. They'll probably drop Skyclave Apparition because it does hit Karn and it hits like O-Stone, but like the primary game plan it doesn't really interact with. I actually think I'm gonna drop Thragtusk for a Wilt. I'm gonna drop Wormcoil for a Wilt as well. I don't think they would be playing something like Damping Sphere, but I do want a kill spell that can hit the stupid Dryad, as well as like an Amulet if they happen to be running Amulet. I don't even remember what this deck runs or plays anymore. It's been so long since I've actually looked at a list, and I wasn't super familiar with it when the deck came out anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this. So if we get Ghost Quartered or Fielded, we have a pretty decent way to come back from this. If we just draw Mine, we'll have turn 3 Karn. We do have a Maze Mind Tome to help try and find Mine. Like Field of the Dead, second Elvish Reclaimer. Sure. Take 1. We untap. Alright. Scry with Maze Mind Tome. Power Plant. Power Plant does let us cast O-Stone, which is a fine follow-up plan to Karn Liberated. So we'll leave it on top. Gaddock Teague, huh? I mean, in that case, we'll take 2. Non-creature spells, CMC 4 or greater. So they don't have Hand Hate. They would have some kind of artifact destruction. So I think what we do here is we hide the fact that we've drawn Urza's Mine. Draw an extra card. And if I draw a tower, I would play the tower here. Okay. So we're going to play another Power Plant. Pass the turn. This decreases the likelihood that we get Ghost Quartered. Yeah, because those get lands tapped. So our opponent would have to have like Amulet and tutor up a Ghost Quarter or a Field of Ruin or something like that. Which they would be able to take us off of Tron, but then we could immediately reassemble Tron with a Sylvan Scrying. Okay, opponent sacks a forest. I assume they get Flagstones. Yeah, Flagstones allows them to start ramping, but they're about to lose all their guys. I am going to crack O-Stone on my turn. Actually, I don't even have to do that. I can just, no, I do. Never mind. Unless I draw a tower. Actually, it doesn't matter, because I played the way that I did. Anyway, O-Stone. I'm going to stop talking, because I am losing my train of thought. So, if they play another Gaddock Teague and we draw land, we're fine, because then we either O-Stone again, or we play Ulamog and everything's fine. Opponent paths their own Reclaimer to desperately ramp. It does get them up to 4 mana, but we've unlocked ourselves from Gaddock Teague. If we draw land and we can Ulamog, game's probably over. Okay, opponent explores. And plays a Soccer Tribe Elder. Sure. We untap and draw Karn, Great Creator. Is that better or worse than Karn Liberated here? I think it's slightly worse. Yeah. Play Karn Liberated. We're going to exile, I guess, Field of the Dead. Probably our best target there. Play Maze Mind Tome. Now we're just trying to hit a land. Sphere to the bottom, pass the turn. So, the last few times I've played against my opponent's deck, I've gotten absolutely destroyed. Because, like, the super fast hand for any Amulet Titan deck just annihilates Tron. And it seems like it's super resilient and hard to interact with. Okay, I don't want a second Karn, I want another land. Okay. So, uptick on my opponent's hand. They give us another Dryad. Okay. So, Chromatic Star. Crack for green. Another Maze Mind Tome. Sylvan Scrying, get a tower, play tower, play Karn, play a second Maze Mind Tome, scry, map to the bottom, wish, and I think we actually take coding here. So my opponent can attack and kill Karn, Great Creator, but that's fine. Okay, opponent sacks Soccer Tribelder. They can no longer attack and kill Karn, Great Creator. On their upkeep, we'll shut off Horizon Canopy. This means if they have nothing to play, they have to sack it immediately to draw a card. Alright. We win the match. I'll see you guys in round 2. Neither of our 2 new tech choices showed up for any portion of that. We never ran out of cards, or were in a position where we needed to cast Jegantha, and we didn't draw All Is Dust, which is the walking ballista slot. So, all right, we get to play first again. Reveal Jegantha. This is a little derpy, so I'm going to mulligan. This is a bit better. This is a turn 4 Ugin, which, depending on our opponent's deck, could be an absolute beating. I think they kept 7. One sec. No, they mulliganed to 6. Alright, I'm going to keep this, and I'm actually going to put back Expedition Map, which does take away our turn 1 play, but our other cards in hand, I think, are more important to actually getting to where we need to go. So start Power Plant, pass the turn. I could have started Forest Ancient Stirrings. Alright, opponent plays a Flooded Strand. We draw a Tower. Play Tower, Maze Mind Tome. Scry. Okay, opponent fetches with Flooded Strand. Gets a Ketria Triome. Karn Liberated to the bottom. We are looking for Urza's Mine, though we don't need to have it next turn because we do have land tutors and such. So scry again. Another Maze Mind Tome. I'm actually going to keep that. So play a Forest. Ancient Stirrings. I kind of expect this to get countered. Okay, opponent fetches up a Hollowed Fountain. This looks like the Uro deck. Mana Leak. Play a second Maze Mind Tome. Scry. Karn Liberated to the bottom. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Field of Ruin, which does make our life a bit harder. They hit Power Plant. We get a Forest. They get a Plains. Okay. So scry. Karn Liberated to the bottom. Scry. Mine to the top. Draw Mine. Tutor up Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. And if our opponent has a counter for Ugin, we just start drawing extra cards and try and overwhelm their counters, which is not a fantastic backup plan, but it is a backup plan, which normally we would not have at this point. We also have Jegantha. So players is mine, they don't have Cryptic Mana. Play Ugin. Okay, opponent hard casts Force of Negation, that's fine. Play Chromatic Star. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Teferi Time Raveler. They're going to bounce the star. Okay. They play a Flooded Strand, and they pass. So scry using this Maze Mind Tome, Expedition Map to the bottom. Untap. We draw another Maze Mind Tome. So draw an extra card. Gain 4 life. Karn, Great Creator. Play Karn. Okay, Wish with Karn. And we'll get a Trinisphere. Play Trinisphere. That'll turn off any Force of Negation shenanigans. They Lightning Bolt Karn now while they have the mana to do so. Crack Flooded Strand. And get a Steam Vents. Okay. Pass the turn. Okay. They uptick to Fairy. Play a Temple Garden tapped. Kinda hope we get to cast a Sundering Titan this game. We'll scry. Gain 4. Scry Sylvan Scrying to the bottom. Untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Cast Ancient Stirrings. Get another Karn, Great Creator. Rest of the bottom. Play Karn. Wish with Karn. Get a Sundering Titan. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent upticks to Fairy. Plays a Field of the Dead. Gets a zombie token. We untap. We draw an Urza's Mine. Okay. Play Urza's Mine. We will attempt a Sundering Titan. Force Negation doesn't do it. Mana Leak doesn't do it. Cryptic would. Okay, they do have Cryptic Command. They're going to counter Sundering Titan and draw. Can't cast anything else this turn. We could get a Ballista and play it on 1. I'm actually going to get Sorceress Spyglass. I think name to Fairy. Because that'll let us know what's upcoming. And they can't unsummon Trinisphere. We have just enough mana to play it. They have Renin 6 and Path to Exiles. Okay. We're not scared of Renin... Well, Renin 6 could recur Field of Ruin. But if we don't name Teferi, they just bounce Sorceress Spyglass and field us anyway. Alright. So we have to name Teferi. No, we gotta name Renin 6. That forces them to cash in Teferi if they want to field us this turn. And then we would name Renin 6 after they do that. So opponent kills Karn. Yep, cool. They cash into Fairy, they draw. They play Renin 6. They pick up Field of Ruin. Play Field of Ruin, get a zombie. And they field now to ensure that they have enough mana to pay for any Trinisphere shenanigans. So I imagine that means they drew a counterspell of some kind. All is Dust is not a terrible backup plan. Sorceress Spyglass. We have to play it now in case they drew Mana Leak. They cycle Lonely Sandbar, so they can't cast anything else this turn. They drew Omnath and a Growth Spiral. Okay. Well, name Renin 6. Then we'll play a Maze Mind Tome. And scry. Karn liberated to the bottom. Pass the turn. Kind of just hopes my opponent commits everything to board, and then we cast All Is Dust. If we don't scry into a land for turn, we're drawing Jegantha out of the sideboard. That's the plan, anyway. I imagine our opponent just casts Omnath. I mean, maybe not, but... Okay, they do cast Omnath. They play a fetch land. Omnath trigger, gain life, get a zombie. 3 of 4 cards in their hand. Okay, we untap, we scry at our upkeep. Ulamog. Yeah, I wish we could play it. Okay, we draw a tower, play tower. We gotta hope their last card in hand is not a counterspell. If they don't have a counterspell, which they do, okay, pass the turn. And I think with that, we're just gonna die. We could... Conceivably, we could draw... Oh, never mind. They're going to have Cryptic Mystic Sanctuary now. No, that's going to be game. I feel like I misplayed. I'm not sure exactly what I did wrong, but I'm pretty sure I didn't play that right. And I'm going to chalk it up to this being early and not having had all my coffee. But, okay. Versus Omnath, we're bringing in Veil. And we're dropping, I think, Thragtusk Wormcoil. Try it like that. Alright, we'll play first. Reveal Jegantha. I'm gonna keep this. If we draw the other Tron land, or if we draw any Tron land in the next 2 draws other than Urza's Mine, we will have turn 3 Karn, which is probably our best chance of beating our opponent. If we don't, we do at least have Veil of Summer, and if we have a slower Tron assembly, in theory, we can protect our bombs with that Veil of Summer. I probably should have mulliganed, but I feel like this hand is probably strong enough. Okay. Crack Star for green. Draw a second Karn. Play Blast Zone and Sylvan Scrying. Force of Negation, pitching Omnath. Okay. So opponent recognizes that because we didn't play another Tron land, it's going to be a while before we assemble Tron, so they're going to waste resources trying to prevent us from actually getting the lands we need down. We play Maze Mine Tome on turn 2, we're missing a land drop. Thankfully our opponent does not have a counter for Maze Mine Tome. Expedition map to the bottom, we kind of just need to naturally draw lands here. Okay, Field of Ruins, kind of bad news. This does mean we'll have green mana for Veil of Summer until the end of time. Opponent gets a white source. Okay. We untap. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. So, Ancient Stirrings now, because we need to hit a land. Okay. Well, opponent's playing the slow hand too. So, play Chromatic Star, and we're just going to scry now. Urza's Mine on top. Pass the turn. Opponent pitched Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Okay, they play Time Raveler. They unsummoned Chromatic Star, of all things. I would have unsummoned this Maze Mine Tome, personally. Players is mine. Draw an extra card. We draw Power Plant. Play Star. Pass the turn. Opponent upticks Teferi. We untap. Draw Power Plant, play Power Plant, and pass the turn. Okay, opponent upticks Teferi to 3. So draw an extra card with Maze Mine Tome. To gain 4 life, we draw Sylvan Scrying, untap, draw Tower. Okay, play Tower, play Karn. Opponent hard casts Force of Negate. I needed to lead on Veil of Summer. I keep forgetting that Teferi has real text on him. Alright, Sylvan Scrying. Get another tower. We are following this up with an Ulamog. Theoretically, a Veil of Summer into Ulamog. Our opponent has been missing land drops. They unsummon Chromatic Star. Okay. They fetch with Flooded Strand. So I'm actually going to... I'm going to keep Veil of Summer here. If I'm casting Ulamog, I'm not going to Veil of Summer, probably to protect Ulamog. Okay, they hit Urza's Mine, we get a Forest. We untap. We draw a Star. So, play Chromatic Star. Crack it for green. Get a tower. Play Chromatic Star. Crack it for green. Draw Ulamog. Play tower. Pass the turn. So right now the plan is to get to 8 mana and play Karn with Veil backup. If we can draw a mine off the top, we probably win the game from this position. Okay, opponent plays a Wrenn and 6. They're going to recycle Field of Ruin, which means we're never assembling Tron. And we only have 2 more forests to get. So, we gotta be quick about this. Get an O-Stone. Opponent is probably doing the same thing again. I think we have to play O-Stone. Pass the turn. Next turn we go Karn with Veil backup. Yep. It's kind of hard to beat triple Force of Negation when most of our threats are non-creature spells. It's also really hard to beat more than one Ghost Quarter effect, and our opponent has hit us with it 3 times. We're going to float mana. Get our last forest. Opponent passes priority, so we are going to activate O-Stone to get rid of Renin 6. They have another one. Alright. Well, we're out of basics. If they didn't have that, we would be fine. We can still cast a Karn, but they almost certainly have a 2-mana counterspell because of how many extra cards they've drawn. Play Power Plant. Is it worth it to hold off for a turn? No. No, we're going to cast Karn now. Karn has to resolve for us to win. Hey, that's progress. I want to uptick, but... yeah, let's uptick. Get a Temple Garden past the turn. They play Omnath, Locus of Creation, Scalding Tarn, crack Scalding Tarn, a Stomping Ground untapped, add 4 mana. I mean, we still have the option of just drawing Urza's Mine and ruining our opponent's day. They play Uro, so they can ping Karn for 4. And then they activate... they don't activate Field of Ruin. They Hour of Promise instead. So this is going to give them Fields of the Dead. Tons of zombies. Game's lagging. Okay, we untap. Draw Wormcoil Engine. Play Tower. We can't leave Omnath alive. They just get too many landfall triggers. And it's too much value. So we have 3 options. We can uptick Karn, take out one of their 3 remaining cards in hand. We can downtick Karn. We can Omnath, a Field of the Dead, or our opponent's Field of Ruin. If we don't take Field of Ruin, we're never casting Ulamog. If we uptick Karn, I think Karn, even with a Wormcoil out, Karn dies. If we downtick Karn, Karn definitely dies. Okay, we're kind of going to have to Hail Mary this. So we're going to downtick on Field of Ruin. We're going to cast Wormcoil Engine. Pass the turn. But I think we need to draw Urza's Mine to win. To even stand a chance of winning, I should say. Next turn I can draw and play Jegantha. Okay, opponent plays a Jace the Mind Sculptor. If they unsummon, we Veil. Yep, Veil of Summer. We draw All Is Dust. All Is Dust would do something here. We can't stop Karn from dying, though. Okay, opponent goes to combat. Karn, Karn, Karn. Yep. Block a zombie, gain life. Karn down. Well, they didn't have a counterspell last turn, and they didn't counterspell Veil. So they play a Flooded Strand. Okay. If they escape Uro... actually, I think regardless, we have to just cast All Is Dust. Them fetching Mystic Sanctuary and putting a counterspell on top is brutal. Okay, but they did not. They did not do that. Okay, opponent gets more zombies. They play Renin 6. We have 8 mana if they pick up Field. Okay, they do pick up Field. So here comes Uro. And whatever card our opponent draws has to not be a counterspell. Oh, they're going to put Field onto the battlefield. Okay. They're activating Field. I think that's our last power plant. Oh, we technically have one more. Okay. So our opponent can't have Mana Leak or Force of Negation plus blue card. We untap. We draw a map. Play All Is Dust. Oh, I can't believe that resolved. Get in for 6. Take our opponent to 19. So next turn, I think we have to map for something. and then put Jegantha. Well, if we draw land, we can put Jegantha in our hand and then cast the Elk. Never mind. Opponent is going to Field of Ruin us again down to 6. And get a whole bunch of zombies in the process. This is so stupid. It's only the, like, 9th Ghost Quarter we've survived. There's 2 Cleansing Wildfires and at least 4 Field of Ruin activations. When it gets another Uro, immediately rebuilds their board. Yeah, no card to search for. Untap. Cast Ancient Stirrings. Get Urza's Mine. Rest of the bottom. Problem is they just pick up field and do it again. Put Jegantha in her hand, play Urza's Mine, play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. We have to stay on the defense for Uro, because we need Uro to die, even though our opponent can just recast him. When it cracks Flooded Strand, gets a Mystic Sanctuary, puts Cleansing Wildfire on top. Yeah, alright. I'm just going to concede. We were still in that game for a very long time, and if our opponent did not have a way to recycle lands out of the grave for the 30th time, I think that was their 3rd Wrenn and 6? I don't actually remember because of how long that game was. One sec, I'm actually going to restart the client. Yeah, I mean, we fought hard, so... Alright. We'll play first. Reveal Jegantha. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan. We can do better than that. This is very close. I think we can do better than that, though. Obviously, we couldn't. Time to go to 4. Perfect. Absolutely keep. Let's see if we can top deck the tower. Play mine. Opponent plays a Forest, Elvish Reclaimer. Power Plant. Plays a Windswept Heath. Draw Ugin, play Tower. Actually, probably should have played Forest, so that our opponent didn't think we had it. Because if they've got a Field of Ruin or a Ghost Quarter, they can just tutor it up now. Yep, that was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. Yeah. I mean, my opponent missed a land drop, so... Play a Valakut, get in for 3. We draw a map. Should have put Jegantha into my hand last turn, but I did not. Okay, tutor up Power Plant, pass the turn. Actually, don't know if I should have played it there or not. Probably should have played it. I'm just like... It's impossible for me to not punt right now. Opponent sacks a Forest. Gets a Selesnya Sanctuary. Replays Valakut. Okay. We untap and draw Thragtusk. Okay, play a Sacrificial Karn. Take out Sanctuary. Can't let them have that mana. We draw any land, we play Ulamog. Alright, we still win. Thank God. Because that could have been really nasty. Bring in Wilt for Thragtusk Wormcoil, and we're going to try it like that. I'm sorry for the punts. Alright, reveal Jegantha. Okay, mulligan to 6. Mulligan to 5. It's not great. But I think 2 stars and an Ancient Stirrings plus a Tron land and a duplicate's probably good enough to keep. There's not many hands of 4 that are better than this short of natural Tron Karn. And it's not a super likely hand of 4. Our opponent also mulliganed to 5, so hopefully they're slow enough for us to do something. Players is mine, play Chromatic Star, pass the turn. Opponent Temple Garden tapped. We untap. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. Crack Star for green. Draw Ugin. Ancient Stirrings. get an Urza's Tower, play tower, play sphere, pass the turn. Okay. This is going quite well, actually. Okay, opponent plays a Windswept Heath. And nothing. I have no idea what they're holding. We draw a Power Plant. Crack Star for green. Ancient Stirrings. Take Karn, Great Creator. Play Power Plant. Play Karn, Great Creator. Wish. I'm gonna take Sundering Titan, and we're gonna play Expedition Map. So if my opponent does not have a Ghost Quarter effect to take us off of mana this turn, we play Sundering Titan and take out 2 of their lands. Okay, they have an Aven Mind Sensor. It's annoying, but not game-ending. They attack Karn. Okay, Karn goes to 2. They play Flagstones. And a Knight of Autumn, taking out Expedition Map. That's fine. We probably weren't searching our library anyway. All is dust. So, play Sundering Titan. We'll take out Scattered Groves and Temple Garden. Uptick Karn, no targets. And as long as our opponent doesn't have a Ghost Quarter, we're golden. Okay, opponent kills Karn, that's fine. They play a Valakut. We draw a map. We'll take the safe route and play Ugin. Game over. Well, we've had a really good showing versus that deck that we usually get obliterated by, so I'm not sure what's up. Maybe I was just playing against their ideal hand every single time the last time I played against it, but, you know, whatever, I'll take it. Alright. Round 4 doesn't want to show up. Alright, round 4, here we go. Would love to play first. Reveal Jegantha. Alright, mulligan to 6. Mulligan to 5. There we go, perfect. Put back Star and Scrying, we don't need them. Start mine. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Core Duelist. Alright, well I hope we don't die immediately. Play Sphere, pass the turn. It's hammer time! Oh no. Just play a Stoneforge Mystic. No, don't kill me with the turn 2. How do they have the turn 2? Fine. Wilt in, Spatial Contortion in. Drop All is Dust. Thragtusk, Wormcoil. Bring in Walking Ballista. We don't need Jegantha in this matchup at all. And then cut Nulamog. That is not a likely hand. Okay, mulligan. Well, it's kind of slow and we have no interaction, so I think I'm going to go to 5. Alright, well, it's turn 3 and we're on the play, so see if we die on turn 2 again. Keep, put back Power Plant Sphere. Start Power Plant Sphere. Pass the turn. No, stop! I swear, if I get turn 2'd twice in a row, I'm gonna be so royally pissed. Sylvan Scrying. Get Urza's mine. Pass the turn. Plains. Stoneforge. Okay. Maul of the Skyclave, so it looks like they're on the backup plan this game. Hit us for 1. We untap, we draw Chromatic Star. I think I just wish for Trinisphere here. Because that makes it difficult for them to do much. Then we can start picking apart their permanents with Karn. Okay. Pass the turn. Wow, opponent can't cast anything because they don't have any lands. Okay. So they can put Maul of the Skyclaves onto the battlefield. That makes sense. They kill Karn. We untap, we draw Ulamog. Play Big Karn. Kill Core Duelist. Pass the turn. So my opponent cannot do the same shenanigans this turn. Opponent attacks Karn for 1. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Uptick on our opponent. They give us a Giver of Runes. Crack Star for green, draw a card. Sylvan Scrying for a tower. Play tower, pass the turn. On an untaps. Okay, concedes. Alright, now we just have to not die to an incredibly fast one again. I could technically bring in Weather the Storm, as it would keep us alive for 1 hit. But the likelihood that we play that into something that matters on turn 3 is kind of low. So I'm not going to bring it in. This time our opponent is on the play. Honestly, I'm keeping this hand just because it has Contortion. Which is still not fast enough to interact with the turn 2, but nothing we have is, because we're not playing Dismember. Also because we're playing Jegantha. Okay, opponent starts Land Giver. Play Power Plant, play Map. Pass the turn. Giver can protect a creature from colorless. That's an Ink Moth. They play Stoneforge. They get Colossus Hammer. We untap and we draw Blast Zone. Play Urza's Tower. Kill Giver. Actually, shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. I should have waited. Should have waited to see if we needed to kill anything this turn, and cracked map if we didn't. Okay, opponent hits us for 1. We draw Wilt. Well, we have to play the Forest to keep up Wilt because of the stupid play that I made last turn. We can, in theory, Wilt Ink Moth Nexus. They animate Ink Moth. They go to combat. Attack for 2. So this tells me they have a protection spell of some kind. They play Colossus Hammer. Yeah, that tells me that they have Apostle's Blessing. So their last 2 cards in hand are probably Equip Spell, Protection Spell. So what we can do here is we can Wilt Ink Moth. I did not expect that to work. Untap. Draw Ancient Stirrings. Play Blast Zone, pass the turn. We have to keep delaying the Tron. Okay, opponent attacks for 1, that's fine. They play a Sacred Foundry tapped. Hitters is mine. Untap. We draw Walking Ballista, and that should probably do it. Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't because my opponent could equip in response to us casting Ballista, and then we would be probably really boned. We're going to play Star, Crack Star, draw another mine, Ancient Stirrings, take Karn. Okay, Karn I can play, because they shouldn't have a way to protect from Karn, even if they do have Apostle's Blessing. We're going to nuke the Colossus Hammer. I guess the creature is technically a higher priority target, because we have Blast Zone, and my opponent could, like, play a Hammer, equip. Okay, they have a Spellskite. Hit Karn down to 1. Or they hit Karn for 1 down to 2. Okay, we untap, we draw Maze Mind Tome. Uptick on our opponent's face. Get a card from their hand. Get Magnetic Theft. Players is mine. Play Ulamog. Exile both creatures. And game's over. Whew, well, that was a really bad matchup. We got very unlucky game 1, and we got very lucky games 2 and 3, especially with punts. This is a punt-filled league, I'm so sorry. Alright, let's try and play tight for the last match here, given that we have the opportunity. Reveal Jegantha. Okay. Mulligan. Mine Tower. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. We have 2 redraws and an actual forest if we need it. When it starts Scalding Tarn. Play Mine, play Sphere. Pass the turn. On a crack Scalding Tarn, gets a Triome. So this is probably Control instead of Uropiles, because the Jeskai Triome is generally played in the Control deck, and the Ketria Temur Triome is run in the what do you call it? Uro deck. Play another Sphere. Crack it to draw, and we'll finish off with Chromatic Star. So we need our opponent to not have Cleansing Wildfire, and hopefully not have a counter. That might be asking too much, though. Play Tower. Crack for green and draw. Karn, Great Creator. Great Creator plays around Mana Leak, so play Great Creator. Opponent remands. Okay. Play Sphere. Crack Sphere. Sylvan Scrying. Oh man, that's dirty. Get a tower. I could not have asked for a more ideal sequence of draws there. Because next turn, if they don't interrupt our Tron mana, we cast Ulamog and they're going to be very sad. Play Jace the Mind Sculptor. They Brainstorm. This tells me that they have Force, and they're expecting to be able to force something this turn. So we're going to play Ulamog, we're going to hit Jace, and nuke the Triome, I think. Okay, well I'm glad we have a lot of follow-ups. Play Ulamog. Hit Jace Triome. Okay. Ulamog resolves. Our opponent still likely has Force. So depending on what they do, what we're probably going to do next turn is we're going to lead on Karn, Great Creator, because we have 11 mana. I expect them to tap out for something here, like an answer to Ulamog of some kind. We play Karn. Karn probably gets forced, and then we follow up with 7 mana Karn, which I think is even better. Okay, opponent plays Teferi, Time Raveler. They uptick Teferi. Okay. We untap. Draw another Karn. Go to combat. Opponent paths. Okay. Get a forest. Go to second main. Play Karn, Great Creator, which resolves. Play a forest, play Karn Liberated. I mean, if this just all resolves, I'm fine with that. Nice. Down tick. Kill a blue source. Down tick. Wish for Sundering Titan. Okay, so the reason we hit Steam Vents and not Hollowed Fountain is because if our opponent has 2 red sources, potentially they have 2 bolts. If they only have 1, they can theoretically only answer one of our onboard planeswalkers. Sundering Titan is also a threat that they cannot force of negation. Not that they have it, they would have obviously used it if they did. But Sundering Titan takes out literally the rest of their mana. They downtick Teferi, no targets to draw, and concede. Nice. So we're bringing in Veil of Summer. I think we bring in Wilt. Drop Thragtusk. We drop Wormcoil. I need to cut 2 more cards. Probably O-Stone, and probably another Wormcoil, honestly. I wanted to cut all his dust, but my opponent runs Path as their main removal. Actually, because they do, I should probably run Thragtusk instead of Wormcoil. Okay, reveal Jegantha. Can't keep this hand. I am going to keep this. I'm going to put back, I think, all his dust. We only have 1 playable card at the moment, but we are on the draw. And that card is a Mazemind Tome. When it starts Hollowed Fountain untapped. We just draw the Tron land anyway. Play mine, pass the turn. In this case, this is when Mazemind Tome is at its best, because you can play it on curve when you have natural Tron. When it opts at our end step. When going to play his Flooded Strand. We draw another power plant. Play power plant. Play Tome. Okay, the fact that they did not counter that tells me that they do not have that many counter spells in hand for answers. If my opponent was just like had a fistful of counter spells, I think they would have countered Maze Mind Tome. That, or they really undervalue it. Okay, opponent plays a Flooded Strand and fetches again. They're probably playing it to Fairy and they're just going to unsummon Maze Mind Tome. Yep. Yep. Okay, we draw Wilt, play Tower, play Maze Mind Tome, draw an extra card, play Chromatic Star, crack Star for green, draw map, Ancient Stirrings. I guess I'll take mine, and that way we have redundant pieces. Then play map. My back is pinching this morning, and I really hope I didn't overdo it lifting last night. Oh, because it kind of hurts. And I really hope I didn't injure myself. I hope it's just like muscles being tight and pulling wrong, because then I can just roll it out and deal with it, and I'll be fine. Or maybe I've been sitting in my chair wrong. That's also possible. Okay, opponent untaps, upticks to Fairy. Plays a Flooded Strand. Opponent was thinking about casting something and has changed their mind. Okay, Cleansing Wildfire on the tower, we get a Forest. Okay, we definitely scry. Ugin, I will leave on top. That is something to play after Tron. So, play Tower. Play Ugin. They probably have a counterspell, because they haven't cast anything yet, basically. Basic Island. I was kind of worried that was going to be a Mystic Sanctuary for, like, Cleansing Wildfire. And they remand Ugin. That's fine. That would be the least punishing of their counterspells. They uptick to Fairy to 3. They play Jace. Okay, so they're either digging for force or they already have force. But Ugin is a lot worse than he was. I'm going to scry at our upkeep because I want to try and get to Ulamog if possible. And the only way we can play Ulamog this turn is if we draw him naturally. So, scry on our upkeep. Ancient Stirrings to the bottom. Okay, we draw Chromatic Star. So, players is mine. Play Ugin. If Ugin resolves, we're going to uptick and kill Jace. Okay, Ugin does not resolve. Play Chromatic Star. And pass the turn. Yeah, I think we need an Ulamog to just get out of this. My opponent has 2 active Planeswalkers, and that's pretty rough. They opt on their own upkeep. Okay. Okay, opponent brainstorms. They uptick to Fairy to 4. And play a Scalding Tarn. Okay. Okay, I'm going to crack Star now. Blast Zone. Untap. Scry. Gain life. Mine to the bottom. We draw Thragtusk. Cycle Wilt. Karn. Karn probably doesn't resolve, but we do need to try and get him to resolve. So play Power Plant. Play around a Mana Leak. Opponent fetches up a Sacred Foundry untapped, so it looks like they're going to Cryptic. Oh, Snapcaster for Remand? Okay. Just gonna crack map now and get Sanctum of Ugin. This might be too late, but I mean, we still have to try. Okay, opponent plays and cracks a Scalding Tarn. Opponent hits me for 2. Has to discard to hand size. They discard to Fairy. We draw another Urza's Mine. Play Sanctum. Play Karn. Sack Sanctum. Get Ulamog. Yeah, Karn absolutely gets countered here. Just with a Remand, though. Play Thragtusk, playing around Censor. Which I'm pretty sure no one runs anymore. Alright, gain some life. Thragtusk resolves. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent untaps. Ticks up to Fairy. Brainstorms with Jace. So next turn we have 14 mana. That seems pretty sweet. Okay, opponent opts. Shocks a Steam Vents. And passes the turn, discarding an island. Draw an Ancient Stirrings. Play Ulamog. Exile Jace to Fairy. Kind of expecting a Cryptic command. Actually, why would they do that? They probably just have Path. Okay. Sylvan Scrying. Okay, Snapcaster Mage. They're gonna remand this. That's fine. Okay, play Urza's Mine. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 5. The only difference between Urza's Mine and Urza's Tower there is Tower would have let us put Jegantha in our hand. Opponent chumps Thragtusk with a Snapcaster. Cool. They Cleansing Wildfire the Tower. We get a Forest. If they could do that at instant speed the whole time, they must have just drawn that. Because, like, why would you not lead with that when your opponent just tutored up an Ulamog? Okay, opponent plays a Flagstones. Plays a Jace the Mind Sculptor, Brainstorms. I mean, one attack with Ulamog and they're gonna be dead because they only will have, like, 4 cards left in their deck. Okay, we untap. Draw a Chromatic Sphere. Go to combat. Opponent paths Ulamog, that's fine. Get a Forest. Attack our opponent. Opponent chumps. Sylvan Scrying. Dovin's Veto. Okay. Ancient Stirrings. I think I just take a redundant Karn. Well, no, we'll take Maze Mind Tome. Play Blast Zone. Put Jegantha in hand. Play Maze Mind Tome. And Scry. Hey! Redundant Karn. Put it on top. So we are at 27 life. Oh my god, you're kidding me. They have Copycat combo? Do we just lose? Alright, you got me. I never in a million years would have predicted. Because I've not seen either of these cards played by a Jeskai control list. Ever, actually. Well, what a surprise ending. You know, Moto's lagging so hard I actually can't concede right now. Okay. Yeah, right-click concede wasn't going to work. Opponent, I am trying to concede. I know you're low on time. I'm legitimately trying to concede. I have video evidence. I'm not being a dick. I'm not trying to run down your clock. Moto's just a shit program, and it's lagging too hard for me to concede. You guys ought to be able to hear me clicking. Just let me concede. Moto! It's not going to let me concede. You would think out of all of the actions you could take, as far as what Moto's like primary game loop would be concerned with, it would be the concede prompt. However, Alright, well, we'll come back when this is over. So be thankful that you didn't have to hear all of the overlapping sound effects. And they're not on the recording because I muted the recording because my auto editor is based on the freaking noise. Oh, did we win game one? That's right, we won game one. And here I was trying to concede the game. Alright, well, submit deck. I'm going to restart the client for game 3. I was so tilted, I did not realize there was a game 3. Alright, I would love to play first. Well, I feel like a jerk because I wasn't trying to run out my opponent's clock with making them do a lengthy combo, but the game was lagging so hard, I couldn't actually concede or close the client. Perfect. Alright. Start power plant map. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Scalding Tarn. We draw a tower. Man, look at how fast it's going now. Alright. Get a forest. We untap. We draw. Play Expedition map. Pass the turn. This will let us grab a redundant piece if they Cleansing Wildfire us again. Okay, opponent plays a snow-covered island into something. Saheeli Rai. Opponent pings us for 1. I think it's unlikely that if we Karn away a land, it's unlikely that they can just combo us. I am going to pick up a Sanctum of Ugin, though. Can we draw a redundant power plant? Play Karn Liberated. If my opponent's running Simian Spirit Guide, they deserve to win. Okay, never mind. They just have Force of Negation. They deserve to win. They take up Saheeli, they deal 1 damage to us. Alright. Ugh. That sucks. Let's open up our treasure chest and then I'll talk about the deck for a minute. Okay. So, treasure chest has 20 play points and a Steel Shaper Apprentice. Okay. So, the logic behind running Jegantha is that Tron effectively will have an 8-card starting hand, meaning that you'll always have something to cast with Tron in addition. It taps for 5 mana, so kind of in the scenario that you get screwed out of Tron, you have the ability to play a 5/5 that taps for 5 mana, and then you can cast your Ulamog, or any other card that you have in your deck. It technically fixes... Actually, it doesn't fix, never mind. And as a backup game plan, honestly, I think it sucks. I kind of wish it was anything else in the sideboard, even Kozilek. All Is Dust did have a good highlight. We just played against Uro, and Uro top-decked the card that absolutely destroyed us because they already had 2 Fields of the Dead, and then they could play Uro out of the grave. And like, even though we took out 2 Planeswalkers, like 6 zombies and an Uro, my opponent just made 10 more zombies, played a Planeswalker, and cast Uro from the grave. So it's like, it was basically a fog, or like a unsummon everything you have, and just so you have to replay it kind of a deal. So I'm not sold on All Is Dust, but we didn't really have a lot of other chances for it to shine. Yeah, I really don't like the Jegantha. I will probably keep it in for at least 1 more league so that I can get a little more experience with playing it, so that I understand maybe some of the lines. I also made some punts in. I had time. There were times where I had 3 mana and I just didn't add it to my hand. but I think every single time that was a scenario, putting Jegantha in my hand didn't make a difference because I wouldn't have cast it anyway. So take that as you will. I really think I actually think it's not worth losing the walking ballista in the main, and I don't like walking ballista in the main, so that should tell you something. All right, well, other than the fact that we learned that Moto is a really, really crappy program that lags a lot, I don't think we gained too many new insights into Tron. I do like my previous list better, but, you know. If you have suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I won't mind. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. You can also follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. And I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a lot of fun. An hour after, about the time I'm probably talking right now, because this will probably be about an hour after I edit it. We'll have the last stream VOD go up. It was a good stream. I recommend watching if you just need some noise or you like my content. But I've rambled enough and I need to get this video edited, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for supporting my channel. You're all wonderful human beings. We're very close to 500 subscribers, and I'm super, super excited about that. And yeah, I really appreciate your support, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!